You can't just say, oh, my life situation sucks. I don't want to help my parents pay rent. I'm going to sell shrooms in my house. And I'm also going to complain that I have schizophrenia and use it as a scapegoat. Because that is kind of stupid when you think about it. So I was scrolling through TikTok and I saw this video of a schizophrenic person talking about how they don't have to help their parents pay the bills. And that's something that kind of struck home for me, because not only do I suffer with psychosis, which is an aspect of schizophrenia, I have a psychotic disorder on the schizophrenia spectrum. Not only that, but I come from a family who has done a lot to help earlier generations out financially. And that is a continuing going on thing, so it kind of hits home for me. And I was looking through the comments of this video, and at first, when I saw the let me just show it to you.
Asking for you legally have to give me a month.
No, I don't, because you haven't paid one brown penny.
I'm not obligated to, and I can't afford to.
Guess what? Doesn't matter.
You can't just tell me I have 2 weeks to find somewhere.
You've had over a month. And
No, I haven't.
look, you have done nothing but dig your heels in and try and make me feel bad about your...
No, I haven't. I've been trying to educate you.
No, your education is brainwashing.
No, it's not. You just won't listen to
No,
me.
I'm not going to listen to this crap. Now you talk...
I have
I
schizophrenia.
don't care what you have. I don't. It doesn't mean we live in squalor. And it doesn't mean you're a bully.
I'm not even a bully. You literally detonate me, misgender me, and tell me that, like, you legally have to give me a month.
So that was the video. It's a very interesting video. It's something that I could talk at very long lengths about how this person seems entitled, this person seems, doesn't really have their priorities straight, I think. Because if you have the money for piercings and to dye your hair, then you can give your parents like, what, $50 a month, and that can cover almost half of, the electricity bill. At least the amount of electricity we use is around $150 on average. But genuinely, just coming from a place of confusion, when I saw this video, I was a bit worried because she uses her schizophrenia as a scapegoat. And that's not something that's very good. I mean, of course you're suffering with things, but you can't just say, oh, I'm schizophrenic, which is what she does. She says, oh, you have to give me a 4 weeks notice. And when that doesn't work, she says, oh, but I'm schizophrenic. And that's a very strange cop-out, because I know schizophrenic people who have jobs. I know even during the pandemic, a past patient got a job. He had schizophrenia and he got a job. It may not be a luxurious job. It's just a job at a large supermarket. Supermarket, a pretty big supermarket. I got security and supermarket mixed up, but he got a job at a pretty big security market. And people can still get jobs. I mean, you need to be able to abide by the certain rules and restrictions because of COVID, obviously, but you can get a job. And I also know other people who are suffering with other things like personality disorders. I know a past patient who has a personality disorder, but she's one of the smartest. She's one of the smartest people that I know that go to a certain college. Being in National Honor Society and being president's list and being generally a very smart person, even though they have a debilitating mental illness, even though their mental illness literally affects their personality. They're able to maintain proper schooling grades and they're able to hang out with friends. And even though it may not be as much as they want, it's still it's still a life that they're able to maintain. And that's my point. You can't just say, oh, my life situation sucks. I don't want to help my parents pay rent. I'm going to sell shrooms in my house. And I'm also going to complain that I have schizophrenia and use it as a scapegoat. Because that is kind of stupid when you think about it. It's not much of an argument. I could go on at lengths about how she's entitled, about how he's or they, I don't know. I've seen people refer to this person as she. I've seen people refer to this person as he. I see people refer to this person as they. I've even seen a couple people call him Z or Zerb or something like that. And I genuinely, I don't know. Don't cancel me. I'm just going to refer to the person as this person. But this person has done a lot of questionable things, especially selling shrooms, and that's a big caveat to address, because psychedelics and schizophrenia don't mix well at all. And if you have schizophrenia, then you take a psychedelic and you're gonna plummet straight into a psychotic episode. I almost ended up in one, but that's a story for another time. When you are experiencing psychotic symptoms, one thing that you need to stay very far away from are certain cold medicines, which can cause serotonin syndrome, especially if you're on a antidepressant, but also alcohol, because it's a depressant, and something that not a lot of people know about, LSD, acid, shrooms, any sort of kind of psychedelic, because those two really don't mix together. And I don't like the way she's saying, but I'm trying to educate you, because whenever I hear people saying, oh, I'm just trying to educate you, it's like, what for? Are you trying to push your agenda? Are you trying to force your ideologies on someone? Or are you genuinely trying to change minds, trying to teach? And that's something that I struggle with a lot. I mean, I struggle with trying to figure out, oh, am I just stirring the bucket or stirring the pot, or am I just causing drama for no reason, or am I forcing my ideology on people through my videos, when all I really want to do is educate people. From what I've seen people say, this person has forced their ideologies on their parent, and that ended up in a bit of a mess. I genuinely don't know what's factual or not, and I don't honestly care, but I think if you're selling shrooms, you're probably taking it, and that's not a good idea. If your parents are struggling to pay the bills, it's not that hard to get a job. So what, we're in a pandemic. I'm applying to a job at a gym that I go to every day, and I already know the people there, I already know the workers, I already know all of that. I just gotta, do the paperwork, get an interview in, see if I'm a good fit. So I already got an interview. I also got a interview with a ramen place right near our house. And so it's not that hard to find a job. And take it into consideration, I'm on a rock in the middle of the fucking ocean. You have an entire country to turn towards, And if you don't like living with your parents, then leave. Nobody's forcing you to be there. Then leave. That's exactly why I'm making this YouTube channel, so that I can find a outlet, so that I can find a way for me to express myself and possibly make money so I can move away. But in the meantime, I'm stuck being in this little rut. But regardless, I'm saving up money to leave, because I don't like living here. I don't like living in Hawaii in general. And it wasn't that hard for me to find a job. And this place is one of the most highly regarded in terms of expense. A lot of things are expensive. So to even live here is very hard. And my family had to pay earlier generations every single month to pay for bills. And that's just how it works. If you don't like it, move. I mean, the person has dyed hair and a ton of piercings. I mean, I have a ton of piercings, but it's not like I complain about, I need to pay the bills. Yeah, well, if you don't want to pay the bills, then just leave. You have enough money for hair dye, you have enough money for piercings. I bet this person has tattoos. I bet they waste their money on weed, which isn't good at all for anyone with schizophrenia, because it increases dopamine in the brain, and a excess of dopamine is exactly what causes a psychotic episode. And when she talks about a schizophrenic attack, what do you mean a schizophrenic attack? I've been in 3 mental hospitals. I've been studying this throughout all of college. I've been in therapy groups for the most part of early 2018 all the way up until 2021. So that's 18 to 19 to 20 to 21. That's 3 years in the world of mental health. And in those 3 years, hospitalized in 3 different mental hospitals. And I know for a fact that when I encounter psychotic symptoms, it's not called a schizophrenic attack. One of my old therapists literally printed out the DSM for me, and it may not be the full up-to-date version, but when I read it, it had nothing to do with attacks, because that's not how it works. Schizophrenia works in the fact that your brain gets overflooded with dopamine, and when it's so flooded with dopamine, you start receiving you receive sensory input that's not actually there. It's not an attack. It's a slow buildup. I used to hear voices telling me to kill myself when people got too loud around my house because yelling and screaming is a trigger. But I didn't go into it automatically. I slowly worked my way into it. And that's how schizophrenic attacks or schizophrenic episodes or psychotic episodes, whatever the hell you want to call it, that's how they happen. They slowly build up over time. It's not like, oh, well, there are exceptions, like maybe a family member dying or, you know, being in a traumatic event or coming up on a surgery. But you can't just hear, oh, I have to pay rent, my parents don't want me to pay rent, I'm gonna go say that I have a schizophrenic attack. I don't even know what a schizophrenic attack is. Are you talking about psychotic episode? Are you talking about a schizophrenic episode? Are you talking about I don't know, break from reality? What do you mean I don't know, whatever. This video has gone on long enough. So I hope you enjoyed. I don't mean to spread any hate. I don't mean to misgender. I don't mean to do any of that anti-political justice, political social justice kind of stuff. I genuinely don't care about any of that. But yeah, that's just my opinion from a psychotic kid who has a condition on the schizophrenia spectrum. Peace.